One of the scariest places in the entire Chernobyl exclusion zone is not at all the dumps of abandoned equipment, not the empty apartments of Pripyat, and not even Chernobyl itself. This place is a small basement in the Pripyat Medical Unit number 126, located under one of the hospital buildings. Tourists are never taken to this basement, and during ordinary sightseeing trips to the city, it is not even told about it, so that no one has an idea to sneak there. The basement itself is a narrow corridor about 60 to 70 meters long, with heating and water pipes running along the walls, and there are several side rooms, all no more than 10 to 15 square meters. What is so creepy about this basement? And why can't you go in there under any circumstances? 1. Pripyat Medical Sanitary Unit Superscript 126 is notorious for the fact that it was there that the firemen who extinguished the 4th power unit at night on April 26, 1986, and the injured plant workers were taken for first aid. Almost all of the firefighters on Lieutenant Kydnok's and Lieutenant Pravik's teams who heroically extinguished the fire at the plant that night died within the next 2 weeks because they received radiation doses of several thousand rem, several times the 500 rem dose, which is already fatal. One can't even imagine what the body of a person who received such a dose turns into. It literally glows with radiation, transmitting radiation to everything it touches. That night, when the firefighters were admitted to the hospital, first of all, they were undressed since their clothes, in fact, were no longer fabric, but solid radioactive waste, and then the clothes were thrown into the basement of the hospital building, where the firefighters were lying. I think it was the right decision at the time. There were simply no places in the city where these clothes would not pose a danger. The firefighters were supposed to change their clothes in the sanitary pass of the nuclear power plant, but it was closed that night, so they had to do everything in the hospital. All the firefighters' clothes are still lying in the hospital basement. 2. The entrance to the basement is a rather prosaic concrete staircase with a welded metal railing in the style of the 70s, on the platform of which some iron and empty milk bottle crates are lying around. The basement itself is quite small. It is such a long corridor, under the ceiling of which there are heating pipes wrapped with thermal insulation. 3. Here is another shot. There are some metal cylinders lying on the floor, and on the left you can see the entrance to one of the side rooms. 4. Inside one of the rooms there are metal hospital cabinets, racks and other equipment lying around. 5. Inside several others are piled the very clothes of firefighters and station personnel. Already at the entrance to the room, the dosimeter shows a background of several tens of thousands of microröntgen per hour. 6. Somewhere on the upper floors of the hospital an undercoat of one of the firefighters is lying around, shining with a background of 80,000 microröntgen per hour. And here's a picture of the firefighter's boots. 7. What is the maximum background that can be detected in the basement? According to stalkers who visited the basement, the floor in some parts of the basement shines up to 1 to 2 X-rays per hour, which is about 100 to 200,000 times higher than the norm, and these levels are actually dangerous to health. In addition to the high levels, the very source of radiation contamination in the basement is very bad. It is fine and highly radioactive dust and particles of fuel from the 4th reactor. Everything in this basement is literally soaked with it. The dust and particles fly in the air. No gas mask or even a pedal respirator will protect against it. It's funny and at the same time scary to watch videos of stalkers coming down to this basement wearing paper pedals on their noses and polyethylene shoe covers on their feet. All this will not protect against microdust, which literally contains all the bottom line of the Mendeleev table: cesium, strontium, plutonium, americium, and on the list. In general, if you'll be in Pripyat, never go to the basement of the hospital. Unlike other places in CEZ, embellished with radiophobic stories, it's really a dangerous place. You can go down there only in a very expensive professional spacesuit with a closed breathing cycle. But it is better not to go down there at all. Subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends. Give it a thumbs up. Tell us interesting facts you know about the topic of this video. See you in new videos.